Thank you, Mr. President. Let me also begin by thanking Special Coordinator Sigrid Kaag for her comprehensive briefing today. And we are also grateful to Dr. Firoz Sidhwa for his sobering remarks. Those were harrowing details, unimaginable, so difficult to listen to and grasp. And one would shudder to think how all those on ground, all those women and children and doctors and humanitarian workers would be coping with that situation on a daily basis. Mr. President, my delegation would also, at the outset, recall and reaffirm its complete support to the briefings, the objective and truthful and responsible statements by senior UN officials, including USG Tom Fletcher, before this Council. In our view, any undue criticism of their work must be unacceptable. Mr. President, we meet yet again under the shadow of a deepening yet preventable tragedy in Gaza, one that tests not only our conscience, but the very credibility of this Council. This is not a natural disaster. It is a man-made catastrophe. As we heard from both briefers today and many other Council members, this is a man-made catastrophe driven by Israel, the occupying powers' unrelenting, illegal blockade of Gaza, and the callous bombardment and deliberate killings carried out with full impunity. The numbers are staggering. More than 54,000 Palestinians have been killed, majority of them children and women. Over 122,000 have been injured. Gaza's people face continuous indiscriminate assault from land, air, and sea. The psychological and societal trauma is beyond measure, beyond imagination. This is without question one of the gravest humanitarian crises of our times. Mr. President, how many more atrocities must be committed before this Council does what is right, morally, legally, and under the UN Charter? Words of concern are no longer enough. The time to act, the time to prevent genocide is now. As Dr. Sidhwa said, we must not allow these atrocities to be normalized, for that would be an affront to international law and human dignity. To grasp the scale of this catastrophe, let me highlight 4 urgent dimensions of the suffering in Gaza. First, the health and medical system has collapsed. It has, in fact, been systematically destroyed and dismantled. Hospitals are overwhelmed, operating without fuel, without sanitation, without essential supplies. More than 800 health facilities and assets have been attacked. Medical workers have been killed, ambulances destroyed. This is the systematic erasure of the right to health and to life. Second, famine is no longer a threat. It is here. In Gaza, at least 57 children have already died of hunger. 1 in 5 Gazans could face starvation. Humanitarian convoys are being blocked or attacked. Relief workers are being targeted. Starvation is being weaponized flagrantly and illegally. Third, Gaza's civilian infrastructure lies in ruins. Water systems are destroyed. Electricity is cut. Communications are blacked out. More than 80% of homes have been destroyed. Most of Gaza now lies within a militarized zone. This is not collateral damage. It is deliberate, orchestrated destruction designed to break the will of the Palestinian people to survive. Fourth, the toll on women and children is unspeakable. According to UN Women, over 28,000 women and girls have been killed, one every hour since October. 50,000 women are pregnant. Next month, more than 5,000 will give birth, many in tents, on the streets, without electricity, clean water, or medical care. And while Gaza is being decimated, the West Bank remains under siege. Displacement is rising. Movement is restricted. Violence by settlers continues unchecked. In just the past 4 months, Israeli occupying forces have killed more than 130 Palestinians. Homes are being demolished. Arbitrary arrests continue. We also strongly condemn the provocative visits by Israeli officials to the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, violations of the legal and historical status quo. These inflammatory actions threaten to ignite wider regional tensions. The sanctity of Al-Aqsa must be upheld in line with international law and UN resolutions. Mr. President, against this grim background, we call for 4 urgent steps. First, an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire. Resolution 2735 must be implemented in full. All attacks on civilians must end. We support all continuing efforts to restore the ceasefire. Second, the full and immediate lifting of the Gaza blockade. Humanitarian teams must operate safely and without obstruction. The current trickle of aid is wholly inadequate and unjustifiable. This Council must demand immediate and unconditional removal of all restrictions on the entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza and its safe and unhindered distribution at scale, including by the UN and humanitarian partners, including UNRWA, throughout Gaza Strip, in full compliance with international humanitarian law. Third, any forced displacement of the Palestinians from the Palestinian land must be strongly rejected. Fourth, we must address the root cause, the prolonged occupation and denial of the Palestinians' right to self-determination and statehood. A just peace demands a two-state solution based on pre-1967 borders with Al-Quds al-Sharif as the capital of an independent and sovereign Palestinian state. The conference next month, to be co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia, offers a unique opportunity to move concretely and irreversibly in that direction, an objective that is clearly supported by the overwhelming majority of the international community. Mr. President, while that action will take place in the General Assembly, this Council cannot remain a bystander. It must act in accordance with its mandate to protect civilians under siege, to uphold international law, and to speak and to be on the side of the oppressed. The time for equivocation is over. There is no justification whatsoever for the human suffering of the Palestinian people. Yes, we agree. Enough is enough. The cries from Gaza cannot continue to be met with silence. The world cannot afford another day of inaction. History will surely not absolve us of our responsibility. Mr. President, the sense around the table is clear. The urgent asks are so evident. Ceasefire, release of hostages, humanitarian action, and protection of innocent civilians. All of this is doable. We call on all Council members to come together to act through a resolution to promote this objective in the immediate term and to help create an environment conducive for the June conference and ultimately towards a just and lasting settlement of the Palestinian question. I thank you.
I thank the